I have the new Harley Benton HBJ-45E acoustic guitar, and I have a confession. It's not in this box. I just thought I'd add that for some fun. It's here, and I've been playing it pretty much for the past 2 weeks. A lot. A tiny glance will show you that this is matte black, it is slope-shouldered, but what you might not see is that this costs less than 200 euros. And in this video, I'm going to find out if it's any good or not. This has a built-in preamp, pickup, and tuner. So I'm going to use the tuner to tune it up right now. I've got a mic right in front of me, the LCT 540S from Lewitt, and that is about 35 to 40 centimeters away from the guitar, and it's aimed at where the neck meets the body, just there, so at the 14th fret. It looks a lot further away on this camera, but it isn't, it's right there. Okay, some basic cowboy chords to begin with, and what you should have heard is that the HBJ-45E is full, rich, and loud, and it's hard to fault it. It's also very hard to stop playing it. Now, before we get into the specs of this, I have to put in a little caveat here. Because this is a sponsored video and Harley Benton have sent this guitar out, if I were Harley Benton, I wouldn't send a bad one. And at this price point, there are going to be some that aren't as good as others. There are going to be some that are in the middle, and there are going to be some that are absolutely fantastic. And it's most likely that I have one in the middle to fantastic. So bear that in mind when you're watching this review and thinking about buying it. Let's talk specs. And let's just move that out of the way for a moment. Right, the HBJ-45E is a round shoulder dreadnought sized acoustic, and it is a good sized guitar. I'm about 6'4", and I usually make guitars look small. This one doesn't look small, looking at my camera monitor, and it doesn't feel small either. It is a J-45 sized guitar. And by that I mean it's very close to being a Gibson. It just has a Harley Benton headstock and some different woods. Well, there's more differences than that, but let's talk about those woods. This top is matte black and it's solid Sitka spruce. The back and sides are ovangkol, which is a rosewood sort of wood. And I don't mean by genus or anything like that, but apparently it has rosewood properties, but it isn't, it's ovangkol. Then the neck is good old mahogany. And there's plenty of neck. It is not a thin modern C or something like that. It is, I would still say a C, but with more shoulders. There's enough to grip onto, which I particularly enjoy. The fretboard is blackwood, and on the official Harley Benton pictures, this fretboard looks pretty red. And I'm really glad to say that the one I have, at least, isn't. It is a dark, rich brown. And really shocking at this price point, we've got binding all the way around the neck and the body, which is phenomenal. And it's a good binding as well. It feels comfortable. It's been very well finished. And dare I say, I played a Gibson Les Paul recently that had binding that you could feel the difference between the neck wood and the binding. This is, you wouldn't even know there was binding there apart from, oh yeah, you can feel it, but only because you can feel the difference in material. It's a bit more plasticky, I guess. We're looking at a 14-inch radius fretboard, so nice and flat, and the guitar scale is 25.5 inches. And I'm going to go millimeters for this. It's a 43mm nut, which for my fingers is just enough. I prefer a bit wider, but the average person will absolutely be fine with that. Speaking of the nut, it is a graphite nut, so that should help with tuning stability. And also helping with tuning stability are the tuners, which are open back vintage style tuners. Are they Harley Benton branded? No, but they look fantastic. And during the tuning, there's no slipping, there's no grinding, there's no crunching. I can't believe this guitar is as cheap as it is. The bridge is also ovangkol, so you can see that open sort of rosewoody kind of colour, which if I hit that with some fretboard conditioner would really darken up nicely. I don't know what the saddle and the pins are. Oh, the pins are plastic. I don't know what the saddle's made of, but it is compensated. Again, $200. And under that saddle is the piezo pickup, or the piezo pickup. And then we've got the HB03 preamp pickup system. And genuinely, if I passed many people this guitar, I don't think they'd say $200. And I had to check with Harley Benton before this was released that I had the price correct. Now, if you didn't know the price or the specs and you were just playing it, and it was set up as well as this one is, there is a bit of a giveaway that this is lower priced and budget. It's the output jack. It is not going to cause any problems, but it is one of those sort of systems that I've seen on many budget guitars. So I recognize that as being a budget option. And that's not bad, it's just that I recognize it when I see it as being on the budget end. The preamp system itself, the HP03, is situated just on top, right here. There it is. The HP03 has knobs for bass, middle, treble, and volume. Then we've got a tuner, a phase, and a battery low indicator LED. If I press that little button just there, it puts us in tuner mode. And then that lights up, the HB lights up when it's in tune, which I think is cool. In fact, I'm a little bit flat on that low E. So let's bring this mic back over. There we go. Well, that's about right. And let's do some more sounds with the mic alone, then I'll move on to the amp. It's very playable, and it's hard to stop talking to you and just to play it so you can hear it. Let's plug it into the amp. Let's do EQ flat, and then I'll mess around with the knobs on top, subtracting and adding things so you can hear the range of the EQ. Currently everything is set to 12, and well, if you press the phase, it pops a little. Does it pop in the tuner? A little bit. That's not ideal. On a big PA system, that is very undesirable. Okay, keep that in mind. It does pop when you engage the tuner. Now, obviously, I don't know what it sounds like where you're listening, but to me, it jumped into life when I added the treble at the end. So I enjoy a bassy acoustic guitar, but it needs a little bit of top, in my opinion. What's the amp set like? The amp is set completely flat. That's adding, the treble has gone from 12 to about 230, dentist time. And I kind of want to take away some mids as well. Again, it works. You can show up somewhere and plug this in. It sounds good. gone out of tune or is it my playing? It could be either, but I have been playing this outside in the sunshine and it's cooled down quite a lot in here. I had a great time with it over the weekend, was just jamming out, I think for about 2 hours, singing the songs that I usually busk with, and I think my neighbours enjoyed it. No one complained anyway. Better check WhatsApp in a bit. The point is, something can sound wildly out of tune in a video that I may not have noticed in a live situation. I've just added some more bass, I need it. Now hearing it back, it does sound a bit boxy, but there's nothing you can't... If you have a good sound engineer, or if you're at a gig where you have a sound engineer and you're playing one of these, you'll do fine, but if you're doing it yourself, just mess around with that EQ on top. I don't want to read any comments saying that sounds awful or it sounds boxy or something. For this price, you shouldn't even be getting a preamp system. And I'm not being snobby there, and I've played some very high-end acoustic guitars recently, and they're noticeably better, more enjoyable, have more tone. I don't want to sound like I'm defending this guitar. What I'm trying to say is that I've been reading a lot of comments, a lot of negativity on videos recently where people claim to be experts, and it bugs me. And I'm going to get on my soapbox for a minute. You have to take into consideration how much you're paying and what the job is that you're using the tool for. If I wanted to record an album and I had, or record a song, say, and I wanted an acoustic tone that sounded full and rich, I probably wouldn't choose this. Because there are, in the sound, there's loss of string and note separation. It sounds like one sound rather than 6 strings. But on stage, in the right recording, in the appropriate setting, this is perfect, and it's cheap. As a beginner guitar, mind-blowing. As a guitar to take around and just not care about if you make a few knocks or something, mind-blowing. But I dare you to buy one of these and not care a lot about it. And on that note, I've already made some scratches on here with my pick, and I kind of like that it doesn't have a pick guard, and I don't think that's a price choice. I think that's a stylistic choice. But stick one on there and you are very close to Gibson J-45 territory. Let's go back to the amp and do the capo test to see if it stays intonated when you put a capo on. That's in tune, that's intonated, that is where it should be. And I'm not really surprised, to be honest. I can tell with the feeling of the whole guitar. In fact, let's do that again with the mic, just so you can hear the difference in case that amp is not to your taste. Turn it down. I hope there's mostly guitar coming through that mic, not just me snorting when I'm concentrating. Yeah, I'm kind of enamored. I love black acoustic guitars. It reminds me of Johnny Cash. And I'm not sure if Gibson ever did a J-45, but they must have done a J-45 in black. But you don't often see budget guitars in black that look this good. They're normally that sort of really heavy, high gloss black. And the thing is covered in poly coating, which kills the guitar. That is not the case with this Harley Benton. Let me show you. The back of the guitar, you can see the pores on it. You can see the fact that there's wood there. And Harley Benton have not said if this ovangkol is solid or laminate, so I'm going to guess that it is laminate or layered. And then when we get to the neck, you can see that the neck is also not covered. There's pores there, there's wood that you can actually feel, and I don't know about here, but certainly touch and be connected with, and that's important to me. I need to be able to feel the wood on an acoustic guitar, if it's made of wood. I don't like it when guitars are covered in protective poly coating, and this is not it. The Harley Benton have done a phenomenal job. I haven't mentioned the fact that it's got strap pin there and a strap pin under there, so if you are a standing up player, then this has got you covered. And nobody wants to have that little bit of string there with the strap. Oh, does it look cool? I think it might do in the right situation. I kind of like it. But I prefer to have strap buttons on the body. Speaking of which, it is super light. It is possibly neck heavy a little bit. Let's test it with the strap. Okay, here we go. I was totally wrong. It's really nicely balanced. It is super light though, so... Well, it's super light. End of sentence. Let's just talk build quality for a moment, because I've done this on other acoustics. I'm going to go down inside the sound hole with my little camera. I'm going to have to loosen some strings for that. There, inside. Let's have a little gander. The first thing that comes to mind, apart from the purple light inside, that's coming from me, not from the guitar itself. Or not from me, from my studio. Just there where the bracing hits the side in the middle of the screen, you might be able to see that that's cut out, let's say, quickly. And I'm pointing that out because I've reviewed a few acoustic guitars recently, and this is where you see the inside stuff. The stuff that people aren't supposed to see. And I did a Baum guitar recently that was 8 times the price of this. Almost, yeah, about 8 times the price of this. And that was cut out beautifully on that. This is cut out as it should be. I don't need that to be cut out beautifully on the inside of a €200 guitar. What about the pickup system? I mean, there you go. It is what it is, right? It's done nicely. It's done fine. It's not perfect. It doesn't need to be. It does the job, and it does it far better than it should do at this price. And I think that's kind of the bottom line of this model. I really hope that if you buy one, you also get one that's like this, because these could make a lot of people happy. It certainly made me happy, and it shouldn't do at this price. This is the kind of guitar that I should be able to take outside and not worry if one of my kids knocks it over. But because I think it looks so beautiful, and I'm so into the slope-shouldered J-45 shape, that I really would care if this got damaged. How weird is that? Okay, I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you want to buy one, there are links underneath where you can click that and it'll take you through to Thoman's website. Leave a comment, tell me what you think, but if you buy one, come back and leave another comment and tell us about your experience, so it's not just me on this video and we can spread the knowledge. A big thank you to Harley Benton for sending this out for review. It's a hit for me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye! Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Cheers!